Missiles and drone attacks on Kyiv and Moscow. That's what we're gonna talk about today, and a little bit about a few other things. Hi, I'm Elena. Welcome to my channel Enough. This is a political channel, basically enough of propaganda, where we're talking about the war in Ukraine for now. Not just about that, but this is one of the main subjects which we're discussing. And today we will know more, a little bit more about what happened and how my friends, for example, writers from Ukraine, feel about the war going on and the recent attacks on Kyiv. I have several friends in Kyiv right now. I'm originally from Russia and USSR and Russia, and I live in Canada for over 19 years now, and I support Ukraine. Why? Because I did a big research, over 9 years of research about what was happening even before that war started in 2014. And I know for sure about Russian aggression there, and I can prove it. That's what I'm doing on my channel. And today we're gonna talk more closely about missile attack on Kyiv. I just got back from the trip into United States, where I was away for almost 20 days, and but still I was keep an eye on what's happening, and even made a short video about Bakhmut. But since it was on the road, I didn't really go into too much details. I couldn't show much video footage or anything. And but I was still staying in touch with my friends in Russia and in Ukraine. And I have several friends living in Kyiv. They were reporting on constant kind of threat. They have everyday attacks. And at least in the last 29 days of May 2023, it was at least 15 attacks of missiles and drones on the Kyiv alone. And Russia is losing the war in Ukraine. Russia can't do anything about it. They started that aggressive war in 2014 and they're losing. Putin losing badly. That is why, kind of like Hitler in 1939, when he couldn't get Great Britain, he couldn't win, he couldn't get it, because of they couldn't get to that basically an island, and because of several other reasons, so they just bomb civilians. That's what Russia does. That is why they keep attacking Ukraine, and Ukraine defending itself. My friends just basically sitting at home. Many of them, as far as I know, none of them going to metro and bomb shelter, partly because at night it closed, except if there is attack, then it would let people in, which it was built by USSR. In the USSR time, the metro was built in a way to be a bomb shelter. That was one of the purposes of metro in many cities in Russia and Ukraine and other, the rest of 13 republics of the USSR. Russia, Ukraine, and 13 republics. Total USSR was consist of 15 different republics, which became now, with the fall of USSR, independent countries. One of them is Ukraine. But it's really difficult to not everybody live close to metro and stuff like that. So people sometimes during the big attacks they sitting on in the corridor, because in the bathroom usually tiles, in the living room usually glass windows, which can hurt people, and that's how they feel. But the spirit of Ukrainians isn't broken. Ukrainians just really tired, many of them in Kyiv, just they can't sleep at night because of those constant alarms and attacks and warnings. Yesterday we were driving by on the highway in the States, returning home, and I was texting to my friends in Ukraine, and they were just saying that they have warnings about missiles coming and drones coming, and they were just sitting and trying to maybe sleep a little bit in between, and just it's really difficult. People are really tired and not happy about what's happening. And but thanks to Patriot missiles and Patriot stations, I mean defense systems, it really helped to defend Ukraine and defend Kyiv, for example. To answer some questions of people about Patriot missiles, how they could intercept things and so on, it's basically the missile doesn't follow from one missile from Russia, for example, flying like Kinjal missile, flying from point A to from point B to point A, let's say, but the missiles which protecting is supposed to defend point A from it. It doesn't have to be chasing that missile. It's already in point A. It doesn't have to fly all the way and chasing, trying to catch up to the missile which flying from Russia. No, it's kind of like I had that very interesting comparison on the both of fifth column. He said very simple example. It's like you driving a old Volkswagen Beetle, but it can intercept Ferrari, which flying on the highway, and you just staying on intersection, waiting for it. This is kind of how it happens. And also, Patriot missiles, Patriot systems are learning from each attacks. It learns. So the more Russians shooting those Kinjals, the more useless they are. Turn out to be, it's not what Russians said. It was another lie of Russia about Kinjal missiles. They really don't do what they were supposed to do according to Russian propaganda. And thank goodness for that. And my friends in Kyiv, as far as I know, still alive at this moment, and that's what I'm doing every day, just checking out how are my friends in Ukraine, are they alive, what's happening, and so on. And this is a little bit of a footage what was happening.
Военной администрации региона
some of this footage you've seen, but this is interesting footage also from TV Rain about mass shooting at Ukraine, and saying that some missiles, of course, intercepting, and they also sometimes about 6 of them fell in the city, and that's what kind of happens as well. And about Russia, about those missiles with intercepting, we will still gonna talk. This is another video I got from Ukraine about the same. Children kind of run into the bomb shelter. It's a little bit from different point of view, but it's the same footage, but this particular one you might haven't seen. And so those drones attacks, this is 28th of May 2023. Again, Kyiv, Ukraine. This is footage from TV Rain. This is just breaking my heart. And this is 30th of May, by the way, from social networks and stuff like that. And what I can say that it is disgusting what Putin say about all of this. And we will see what he has to say about that in a second. Basically, he hasn't say anything important. He keep repeating the same lies again and again. That Russia, who attacked Ukraine twice in 2014 and in 2022, is victim of some sort. That poor Russia has to respond it on the war in Donbass, which Russia started by, for example, Girkin Strelkov, who admitting it on my channel. You have all the evidence you need to see that. When Girkin Strelkov himself admitting it, Putin himself admitting that there is no problems with Ukraine and Crimea is Ukraine. Russia attacked Ukraine. Russia attacked Crimea and then attacked Donbass. And now he's talking about retaliation and about something like that. Listen what he has to say.
Попытки вызвать ответную реакцию России. Видимо, на это рассчитано. Они провоцируют нас на зеркальные действия. Мы посмотрим, что с этим делать, но граждане Украины, которые, конечно, сейчас слова не имеют, поскольку на Украине развязан тотальный террор против гражданского населения, все-таки должны знать, к чему подталкивает нынешнее руководство этой страны. Попытки...
That's just pure lies. I just can't watch it at all. Like, he's talking about attacks on Moscow. We will talk about it just now. Putin is talking about attacks on Moscow. You will see the little piece of it. And they keep saying about some sort of retaliation. What retaliation? Russia attacked Ukraine. Russia bombing Ukrainian cities to the ground. Russia wiped out from the map basically 95% of Mariupol, Russian-speaking city, and Kherson, and Bakhmut, and whole bunch of other places. And what kind of retaliation? Ukraine have rights for retaliation. And this is what happening. Like, basically, if those drones, which I will show you just now, were actually Ukrainian, it wasn't even retaliation. Why they came, we will talk about a little later, what kind of reasons for those drones could be. Just now I'll show you some footage from Popular Politics channel and some other social networks they're using it from.
Ты видишь?
Утром 30 мая Москву
He's saying, do you see it? It was the morning of May 30th.
атаковали беспилотники. Они попали в 3 жилых дома на юге города.
So those drones came and attacked Russia, and they 3 of them hit civilian buildings, apartment buildings on Leninsky Prospect, Профсоюзная, and Atlasova Street. That's what the Popular Politics is saying.
Первый дрон врезался в дом на улице Атласова. Это произошло в 4 часа утра. В 6 утра прямо в окно 16-го этажа в доме на Профсоюзной.
This is the result of it. One was, first hit was at 4 o'clock in the morning, another one around 6 o'clock in the morning. And Russia couldn't defend Moscow. Putin couldn't even defend Moscow from attacks. And there are different speculations about this. Several drones were knocked down. The amount of drones kind of varies. Russia claims it was 8 of them, but several different sources saying from 25 to 32 or something like that. And these are the regions and places where it fell, mostly at Greenfield Истринский district, Красногорский district, Никола Урюпина, Тимошника, Ильинская, Ильинка, Раздоры, Ромашкова, Власиха. I want to put your attention to that Ильинская place, the little settlement. Also there is the Aprelivka. It's all kind of west of Moscow region, west of Moscow. Interesting moment that Ильинская place, settlement, I told you. It's about 3 kilometers from Putin's dacha, Putin's countryside residence in Новоогарево.
Интересно, что поселок Ильинское находится всего в 3 километрах от резиденции Путина в Новоогарево.
So this is one of the Putin's residences. This is a big slap on the face for Putin. If they can't protect, some of those drones fell in like Rublyovskaya Chaussee, which is the place where there are lots of Russian officials and oligarchs and rich people living. It's one of the elite, they call themselves, lives. Of course, they don't have to stay there. They have enough money to go live somewhere else if something happens. But the point is that Putin can't protect his own residence. He can't protect his own, they can't protect the place where the rich people live. What's gonna happen with the places where there are poor people live? Well, people from Belgorod region already know that. The attacks on Belgorod happens, and Ukraine is not attacking civilians. It's not Russia. Ukraine attacking military targets. So all this drone attack and ideas about that maybe Ukraine wanted to send some sort of a message to Putin that if you can protect your own rich people residents and stuff like that, then your military is bad and so on. I doubt that reason is kind of valid. It's somewhat, probably, maybe, but I think there are lots of ways to send Russian people messages in a different way. And Ukraine wouldn't do it without any reason, because Ukraine is a smart country and they're doing this war very smart. This is Roman Svitan, a military expert, Ukrainian, and you already saw him on my channel quite a bit. not quite a bit, but several times probably, he is mostly saying about what I just said, that Ukraine attacked military targets. That is why probably there are some conspiracy theories that it's Russian false flag operation, which is again possible. It is possible, very much, because that's what Russia is famous for. That's what Putin always does when the throne underneath of him started to shake. He either made some sort of a terrorist attack, like it was in Beslan, or something like that, and in Volgograd or some other places, Moscow. It just helps him to kind of unite people, to say, look what Ukrainian doing, look, they shooting at us, terrorist attack. Well, Russia bombing Ukraine to the ground the whole over a year now, killing civilians, bombing. You can see videos about Kramatorsk, about Dnipro in my channel. Dnipro get hit again recently, and so on. So this, what happened in Russia right now with those drones, it's basically nothing to compare what's happening in Ukraine every day. Kyiv, Kharkiv, they getting shot every day. But Mr. Svitan is saying that there are military targets within Moscow as well. And probably if it would have been Ukrainian drones, it could have attacked that. And also he pointing out another important moment.
Сама ракета, она, наверное, в 5 раз больше и тяжелее и страшнее противоракета, поэтому
He's saying that the missiles which is defending Moscow and Russia from drones are worse. They're 5 times heavier and worse. And the pieces of these missiles fall on Russian cities, and they put those missile defense systems right in the cities. And, like, for example, this Panzer system.
она страшнее самого дрона. А, допустим, тот же «Панцирь», стоящий там в центре Москвы, у него радиус работы до 20 километров. Это
These Panzer systems, which standing right in downtown Moscow. The radius of activity of this, 20 kilometers. So it's basically whole downtown of Moscow. And that's what he pointed out. Mr. Svitan was talking on the Popular Politics channel. This is channel TV Rain, and this is Max Boot, military historian and representative of Washington Post. He is thinking basically that maybe Ukraine won't Russia have the taste of their own medicine. In my opinion, if they would do that, there would be way more sense to attack Putin's palace on the Black Sea coast than shoot in the areas where would be civilian buildings and so on. For Ukraine, it doesn't make any sense to do that, because if they will do that, their support, Western support, could have been would be less support for that in the Western countries who is helping Ukraine right now. But Ukraine wouldn't do that. It's either was military targets, and those drones kind of was trying to attack that, or it could have been false flag operation. That easily could have been. As far as I know, there is no proofs of either one at this particular moment, on the moment I'm creating my video. And Putin is saying that such horrible things about that Russia is basically defending itself. Russia invaded Ukraine twice, bombing it to the ground, and then they having a nerve to say that. But I really like on the this kind of Twitter, when Putin finally found the main threat to Russia. That's absolutely exactly true. The main threat to Russia is Putin. I want to show you another channel I showed you before, probably, Warthog Defense. It has lots of interesting footage and information about the war in Ukraine. And this particular one saying about the Ukrainian strike decimated Russian base in Mariupol. 400 soldiers, Russian soldiers, wounded and 100 killed, as far as I know. So they're not quite correct about that, but I just wanted to show you the footage a little bit. So this British slogan, keep calm and carry on, which was used during the Nazis' attacks on Britain, very well applicable to Ukraine. Keep calm and arm Ukraine. This is a very right thing to do, because Ukraine is fighting for our freedom as much as for their own and for their life. They're fighting for their life and defending themselves. If Russia will get Ukraine, they will get further. They will go to other countries, keep distracting life in other countries, and that countries would look like Bakhmut. You've seen the pictures on my previous video on a thumbnail. Bakhmut basically wiped out from the face of the planet. Peaceful city who lived fine, peacefully, and so was Mariupol and many other cities. So keep calm and arm Ukraine. Thank you for watching my channel, and thank you for your support. Have a great day or evening.